Some knowledge changes a person's fate. Others drag their soul into darkness forever. In the most ancient times of history, there were two beings who descended to earth. They were neither human nor ordinary angels. Their names were Harut and Marut. Harut and Marut possessed dangerously powerful knowledge of sorcery, but the secret they carried wasn't only about magic. It was the first key to a perilous gateway opened between humanity and the heavens. And once that gateway was unlocked, the balance of history would be completely shattered by the giant steps of the Nephilim. So, did this dark knowledge truly disappear? Or does it still live on in certain minds? Come, let us trace the path of this forbidden knowledge that fell from the sky and the great rebellion that followed. By the way, if you enjoy this kind of content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video. Your support means a lot to me. Welcome to my channel, Discovery of the Mystery, where we will uncover the secrets. In the ancient times of history, two angels' names were whispered throughout the heart of Babylon, Harut and Marut. They were not the bearers of an ordinary duty, but the carriers of a great trial for humanity. They were assigned by God to teach the basic secrets of magic to people who were curious about it. But this knowledge was not easily shared. Harut and Marut would not utter a single word without giving the following warning to every person who approached them. The price of this knowledge is hell. Only if you accept this can you learn. The story of Harut and Marut is not only found in Islamic culture, it reflects a deep archetype that carries similar traces in Jewish and Christian traditions as well. In all three major Abrahamic faiths, these beings appear as figures who deliver forbidden knowledge to humans. This knowledge is not a matter of mere curiosity, but is part of a divine test. The stories explicitly mentioned in the Holy Book of Islam, the Quran. The verses state that magic was taught to people and that this knowledge was sent down through two angels named Harut and Marut. But the most striking part of the verse is this: they would teach nothing to anyone without first saying, "We are merely a trial. Do not fall into disbelief by practicing magic." This knowledge was a test, and sadly, most who encountered it ignored the warning of hell and pursued this forbidden wisdom. Over time, through the use of this magic, people destroyed families, ruined relationships, and sowed discord between husbands and wives. Everyone who learned this magic knew that in the afterlife, it would bring them no reward. Yet they continued down that path, heedless of the ugliness of what they were sacrificing their souls for. The story of Harut and Marut is one of the oldest examples, showing how humans can become blind in the face of their desires. According to some ancient sources, the descent of these two angels to earth was a result of their own words. The angels, having seen the sins of humans, had said, "If we were in their place, we would not commit such evils." In response, God granted them limited free will and sent them to earth to behave as humans. But their words gave birth to their own test. Over time, they too were drawn into sin like humans and were punished as a result. Their punishment was to hang upside down in a dark cave on earth until the day of judgment. Yet their mission was not over. They continued to teach magic to anyone who accepts the curse. The exact location of this cave is unknown, but some scholars believe it lies hidden between two mountains in the region of Damascus. However, this cave is not a place that just anyone can visit. Only those who have reached an advanced level in the knowledge of magic, even those who have made contact with jinn, can find it. The path to them is usually revealed through jinn or other metaphysical beings. According to legend, a magician, following the advice of his master, embarks on a 20-day journey toward Damascus. Along the way, he meets many people, and eventually an old woman who writes talismans tells him where the cave is. At the cave's entrance, there are bushes. As the magician clears the bushes, a voice is heard from inside. "Who is there?" The magician states his name and his father's name. When he enters, he encounters two giant beings hanging upside down from the ceiling. Realizing they are Harut and Marut, they ask him what he wants to learn. He learns the magic and is sent away. In another story, someone who has advanced greatly in magic learns the location of Harut and Marut during the month of Ramadan through one of his jinn. When he arrived at the cave near Damascus, he was met once again with the same voice. "O cursed servant, you too are among those who are permitted. Enter." He stepped through the cave's narrow opening. Inside it was dark and the air was heavy. Hanging upside down were two massive beings with bloodshot eyes, Harut and Marut. Once again, the sorcerer was asked, "The price of this knowledge is hell. Do you accept it?" He accepted, took what he came to learn, and left. But he could never forget what he had witnessed. The story of Harut and Marut is not just a tale of magic. It is an ancient warning about the limits of human desire, the lust for power, and the cost that comes with it. Though their existence remains veiled in mystery, those who have delved deep into the magical arts occasionally catch glimpses of the truth. Still, it must be remembered, God curses both the one who practices magic and the one who seeks it. And Harut and Marut never teach a single word without first asking, "Do you accept the curse of God?" Yet the story of Harut and Marut was only the beginning of a chain of mysterious events stretching from the heavens to the earth. Because after them, the signs of a much greater rebellion began to emerge. While the dangerous bond they had forged with humanity remained open, unrest stirred among the heavens. It wasn't just the two of them. Many angels were watching the earth and observing the expansion of human life. Some of them no longer wanted to remain as mere witnesses. The Watchers especially became infatuated with the beauty of human women. A forbidden desire began to grow in their hearts, and under the leadership of their chief, Samyasa, that desire turned into a decision. The wish to unite with the daughters of men would soon become a rebellion that echoed across the heavens. At first, Samyasa hesitated. "If we commit this sin, the full burden will fall on me. If you do not keep your word, I alone will bear the guilt," he warned. But his words didn't change the resolve of the others. 200 Watcher angels gathered on Mount Hermon and swore an oath, binding their fates together. That oath marked the beginning of a rebellion that would shatter the divine order. The angels descended to earth and began lives among humans. But this was far from a simple love story. The children born from the forbidden union between the Watchers and human women were called the Nephilim, giant beings who were vastly superior in strength and intellect compared to ordinary humans. Armed with forbidden knowledge from their angelic fathers, the Nephilim changed human life forever. According to the legends, the Nephilim destroyed crops, killed livestock, and enslaved human communities. When humanity could no longer feed them, they turned on both humans and each other. Their presence corrupted not only the physical world, but also the spiritual essence of Earth. Among these Watcher angels, one name stood out above all others: Azazel. According to the Book of Enoch and other sources, Azazel taught humans many forms of forbidden knowledge, from weapon making and the arts of war to beauty secrets and metalwork. Women, through Azazel's teachings, learned how to enhance their beauty and make themselves more attractive. This knowledge shattered the spiritual balance of humanity. But this was only the beginning. Humans began using what they had learned against one another, making war and corruption a part of their everyday lives. This completely destroyed order on Earth and turned into a cry of rebellion that broke the silence of the heavens. God now saw that intervention had become inevitable. The actions of the Watchers and the Nephilim had disrupted the balance on Earth. The great angels of heaven, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, reported the chaos to God. God could no longer tolerate this turmoil and decided to send a great flood. His decision was final. The chaos caused by the Watchers on Earth, the unchecked rule of the Nephilim, and humanity's abuse of knowledge they were never meant to possess had pushed divine patience beyond its limit. The heavens opened. The earth split. God commanded Noah to build an ark. Noah, along with his family, brought aboard a pair of every kind of living creature. The flood began. But this was not merely a natural disaster. It was a divine cleansing, a storm of heaven's wrath. The earth was submerged in rain for days. Mountains vanished. Plains became seas. And this great flood erased not only humanity, but also the order established by the Watchers from the face of the earth. The Nephilim bloodline was wiped out. The Watcher angels were chained and imprisoned in darkness. Their rebellion was sealed for eternity. But the flood did not cleanse everything forever. Once knowledge from the heavens leaks into the world, it never completely disappears. For that knowledge continued to live on in certain minds, in certain hands. Even after the flood, the connection between angels and humans was not entirely broken. Harut and Marut still remained at their post. They would continue teaching magic to anyone who accepted the curse until the day of judgment. But the price for accessing this knowledge was clear: hell. That is why the place where Harut and Marut dwell remained in that unknown location, said to be suspended upside down between two mountains near Damascus. Accessing their knowledge was only possible for those who had reached an advanced level in the magical arts and could make contact with jinn. And that knowledge still holds the power to alter the fate of humanity. But what is truly striking is that traces of this forbidden knowledge and the legacy of the Nephilim were not entirely erased after the flood. According to some sources, Nephilim who survived or passed on their knowledge helped shape the new age of humanity. The rise of ancient civilizations was made possible through the guidance of these hidden hands. From the Egyptian pyramids to Stonehenge, from Sumerian and Babylonian temples to the megalithic structures in the Andes, many monuments appear far too advanced to have been built with the level of knowledge humans were believed to possess at the time. Figures described as demigods or giants in ancient mythology bear striking resemblance to the Nephilim, those dark children of the pre-flood era. Ancient texts write that these beings delivered knowledge from the heavens to humans. The gods of wisdom in Egypt, figures like Enki and Enlil in Sumer, sky beings depicted in giant statues, may all be part of a narrative shaped under the shadow of the Nephilim. Some researchers claim that ancient temples, pyramids, and massive structures aligned with the stars were built with the Nephilim's knowledge and guidance. Their geographic placement, engineering features, and celestial alignments suggest none of it was coincidence. They were far ahead of humanity not only in power but also in knowledge. And that knowledge sometimes took the form of architecture, sometimes mythology, and sometimes secret teachings. But these traces were not only preserved in stone and earth, they also endured deep within the human mind. Mathematics, astronomy, the concept of time, calendar systems, many of these seem to draw from that unknown source. Even today, many scientists still try to understand how the ancient world acquired such complex knowledge. Because that knowledge was not ordinary, it was forbidden, and it was once a gift from angels who fell from the heavens. The story of the fallen angels is not merely a myth-woven narrative. It is also a profound tale that challenges what humanity values most: knowledge, faith, power, morality. Whatever a person chooses, in this story, every choice comes with its consequences. And perhaps the most important question remains unanswered. Were the Nephilim truly a part of history, or merely shadows of our imagination? Maybe the answer isn't hidden in the stones of the past, but in that ancient calling deep within the human soul. So what do you think? You're welcome to share your thoughts on this topic in the comments. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned to the channel. By liking and commenting, you can support my work. See you again soon.